Alright, so it's bright and early here on a Wednesday morning. Happy hump day, everybody. And today we are going over to The Athletic because we are kicking the show off with some commentary made by one Pierre LeBrun in regards to the Montreal Canadiens and their trade situations. So, links are going to be in the description to, firstly, our ExpressVPN affiliate sponsor link. Yes, if you do need a VPN, go out there and check out Express using our link. You can get some free months and it helps the channel out as well. But also going to be linked in the description is this piece from 2 hours ago. NHL rumblings, the Flames are not selling on Rasmus Andersson, the Stars can be big-time buyers, Oilers D, Caps goalies, and more. You can read this on your own time if you have The Athletic. Of course, it's paywalled and behind a subscription. But I'm also going to leave a link in the description to this Reddit post, because Sharks9 went out there and posted the same article on the RHAB sub, LeBrun's NHL rumblings, featuring a section on Jake Evans, which I do think is going to be interesting to dive into in this video. Now, lo and behold, Jake Evans has been one of the more interesting names on the Montreal Canadiens trade block because primarily of the explosion of offense that we had seen out of him earlier on in December. The guy had a goal-scoring streak for the ages. There was a stint there surrounded by a whole bunch of zero-point games where he was so good, and not to say that he hasn't been good as of late. He has still been effective. He has still been a force in that bottom six, and he had the penalty shot yesterday against Utah. Unfortunately, didn't score, but Jake Evans has now gone pointless in, 7 straight games, which is unfortunate, but he has still been bringing value alongside of Emil Heineman and that one Yoel Armia. Anyways, Jake Evans, his contract expires at the end of the season. He's making $1.7 million. He's 28 years old. Everybody knows Jake Evans' situation here. And as he's on pace for 44 points in 82 games played this season, this certainly is the best season he has ever had, despite the no points in 7 games recently. So, let's dive into the Reddit thread and see what exactly LeBrun says. He says Montreal have let Evans camp know that they do want him back, but it can't be a home run, quote-unquote, deal. LeBrun specifically thinks that term will be the big issue and doesn't think Montreal would be willing to do 5 or 6 years. He says if a deal does get done with Montreal, it'll be something that both sides are slightly uncomfortable with. And LeBrun says that Montreal will keep listening to offers on him up until the trade deadline, and he mentions New Jersey as a team that has interest in trading for Evans. Now, this is where things get a little bit dicey, because it's interesting. Artyom Basu said the exact opposite last week, where he thinks term, even 5 to 6 years, won't be an issue for the Canadiens to keep the AAV down. I would think Basu has a better read on management than LeBrun, who often speaks for the agents, but I guess we'll see. And this is an interesting perspective because obviously LeBrun is more of a general NHL insider. He doesn't usually focus on one particular team. Or, I guess you could say Toronto, but maybe everybody in the TSN Sportsnet world focuses on Toronto. Anyways, Pierre LeBrun talks to agents, he talks to representatives of the players themselves, and maybe some NHL team executive people here and there. Artyom Basu, probably a lot closer to the Canadiens management itself. I mean, he's always here, he's in Montreal, he's around the organization. That's just kind of how beat reporters do their job, isn't it? And so, if you're seeing 2 ideas here, let's say the agent is giving out this idea that maybe Montreal wouldn't want to go longer term, and then the Canadian staff themselves are saying, oh no, we'd be okay with going longer term as long as it keeps the AAV down. It does get a little bit interesting because it seems like a bargaining chip for both sides here. The team is being open and they're expressing their willingness to be open to a longer term deal. Meanwhile, the agent is playing a little bit of hardball saying, oh yeah, no, they don't want to do that. They don't want to do that. Maybe in some sort of an effort to get the team to bite, saying, yeah, okay, we will do that. Here's the freaking 6-year, $3.5 million AAV deal. Like, it seems like a part of it is bargaining, but at the same time, it is also intriguing to note that the trade situation is not totally dead. There are teams like the New Jersey Devils, which Pierre LeBrun highlights, are interested here, which is something that we have talked about already on the channel. The Devils are a good young team. They've been one of the best teams in the NHL this season. From the very beginning, when they played off against Detroit in Sweden, they were looking fantastic. Back during those days when Paul Cotter was one of the top scorers in the NHL, they were still one of the better teams, and they are having their way with the league now. So, for Jake Evans, adding a versatile bottom six, top penalty-killing center would be a super notable add, especially when you acknowledge Jake Evans' playoff experience. I mean, he's already been to one Stanley Cup Finals, or he was on the team that went to the finals. I know he didn't play for a bunch of those games because of that stupid Mark Scheifele hit, but still. Let's go out there and read some other comments on this Reddit thread here. Probably best to let him go. New Jersey has a right D surplus. Get one of them. Just an Evans for Nemec heist of a lifetime type of deal. Yeah, that's not going to happen, unfortunately. Simon Nemec is not getting traded in some sort of a Jake Evans package unless the Canadiens are willing to package some more draft picks. Imagine getting Slavkovsky, Nemec, and Machar all on the same team. Slovakia would have a new favorite NHL team, if they hadn't already converted from the Slavkovsky hype. Another comment goes out there and says this: can he be extended and stay put? Yes, but it would probably take both sides getting a little uncomfortable with the deal. This is the point that I keep trying to make to the extend him now crowd. Any sensible GM knows that Evans is on track to be awarded a contract he likely won't be able to live up to, which shouldn't be a shocking declaration given that UFA signings are seldom bargains and often not great values. The long-term viability of this rebuild revolves largely around timing, and the ability to cycle in young prospects punching above their contractual weight class, so to speak. Overcommitting to a depth player, even if he's one of the better role players in the league, is generally not smart asset management. If the Devils, or somebody else, make Hughes an offer he can't refuse, I can totally see him parting ways with Evans, even if it's a major bummer for the locker room. Either way, I definitely trust him not to be tricked into fast-tracking this rebuild. And who knows, best case scenario, let's say best, absolute best, the Montreal Canadiens barely squeak into the Stanley Cup Playoffs, but like everybody expected them to, they don't go far. Maybe they win 2 games in the first series and they get some valuable experience for the young guys. Maybe Jake Evans goes over to a playoff contender, maybe he goes to New Jersey, maybe he wins a cup, maybe something crazy happens and the Canadiens get some assets back. In free agency, if Jake Evans wants to put his money where his mouth is and be like, yeah, I actually really liked it in Montreal, I want to go back. If he pulls the old Antoine Vermette from Arizona to Chicago and just decides to re-sign with the team that traded him away at the deadline in the free agency period, then okay, that would be really great. If Montreal is able to get assets for Evans and then keep him by re-signing him in the offseason, maybe he comes back with a cup ring after all, then everybody wins, right? Because Montreal is unfortunately not really going to be a cup-contending team in this season's worth of play, but, you know, they can still compete. They have guys that are good enough to help them win some games. They won yesterday against Utah. Hudson had 3 points. It was really great. So I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about this Pierre LeBrun update on Jake Evans and how the New Jersey Devils are still interested here. Do you think Evans will be traded? Do you think he'll stick around? Check out ExpressVPN while you're at it. All the links are going to be in the description. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.